All the way up. Okay. I am waiting for Vicini.
Oh.
Well, hello there. Well, everybody's waiting with bated breath to find out what happened with the motor, the mower that was creeping up behind you today on your walk.
I showed you the second
You
clip.
showed me. They don't know.
Oh.
So.
Well, he went around. He waited till he got to a wide enough spot and he went around. Reminds me of this neighbor kid who, let's just say we don't really talk to these people because his the kid's a bit of a, well, it's the like fourth letter of the alphabet and the thing you carry things in.
Yes.
Yes. And he
an e-box.
Right. Right. He was like, I mean, to Henry, it was just really, I mean, just during COVID. Anyway, one day recently, I was out again, leaving. All things interesting happen when I'm leaving for a walk, as you know. And I'm leaving my house. This is why I shouldn't leave the house. I'm leaving the house, and I'm walking down. I make it like 15 feet, maybe like 30 feet at the most, past like the front of my house, and I hear that. I mean, so this kid was out like driving this little motorized golf cart around. It wasn't the kind of that's electric. It was kind of with like an internal combustion engine, so you can hear it. And then he was out in the street, like which he shouldn't be the way he was driving. Anyway, and then he came back up onto the sidewalk. I mean, maybe he's 16 and has. I doubt it though. And he comes back onto the sidewalk, and I hear him approaching from behind me. And I turn around, and he has this big grin on his face. It's like he says, I mean, he had gotten within like 10 feet of me, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't going to run you over." And I thought to myself, why did he say? Yeah. Should I have been worried that he's going to run me over? Like,
no, he wanted you to have been.
It was very weird. Anyway, so I had a little PTSD related to that situation when this lawnmower thing was coming up behind me, and I felt like the guy was just like taunting me. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't. And here's the deal: like, there's different kinds of landscape people. There's the kind who just pretend you don't exist, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do, right?
Right.
And then there's the kind who, which actually I think are the majority. This sort of latter group is the majority of landscaping people that I've encountered in my life, and that is when you get within a certain proximity, they stop what they're doing and move off to the side. They don't. Or they change with like they don't want to actually be like blowing leaves onto you as you walk by. They don't want to be
twang a rock
spraying
with a weed eater
you
into your head.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. They stop and it's a polite thing, and I always say thank you and give a nod, and then they resume like as soon as I'm 2 feet past them. But like it's what you do. Okay. Yeah. This guy, he was like coming up behind, and I'm thinking like the other thing is you're not. These are the community landscape people. So these are the people that get they're like on staff with the community association, right? So we employ them, and I know that they have vehicles like my landscape. The folks who take care of my lawn, of course, they do all of our neighbors as well. And when they need to move like a block away or something, they don't. Like the guys carrying things will carry things, but like the big lawnmower things, generally they don't drive them down the sidewalk.
Right. Yeah.
They will load it back up onto the truck, and the truck moves, and then they unload and they do the thing. If they're just doing like space within visible range, then then they'll just slide it down.
Yeah.
But this guy, when he went and cut the he was not going to like the park area, which you see in the little clip of the video. He was going all the way down around the corner to this other part of the neighborhood. I mean, he drove probably the equivalent of a quarter mile on this tractor.
It's a long
to
way.
the point where I caught up, like I came around this lake and I came back and I caught up to him. I was then thinking, if you do this to me again, and he did, and he ended up going in a different direction. Anyway, my collar's doing weird stuff. And so I was fine. I was fine. Turned out to be fine.
Okay.
It's just, I'm so happy with California. I'm so happy that they have banned motorized, or not motorized, I shouldn't say motorized,
yes.
but
gas operated
leaf blowers and it's gas. It's basically internal combustion engine driven
leaf blowers and
landscaping
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's, and I.
Does that include mowers, or is it just handheld stuff?
Oh no, I think it includes mowers too. Yeah.
Oh wow!
And you know what? I think the people who are doing the work of landscaping are actually going to appreciate that too, because these guys, they're not usually wearing protective equipment. They're not. These guys are doing hard work for very little pay, and the people who are employing them, I mean, maybe the corporate office they care, but the folks who are supervising their work, I think they're just happy if someone shows up and does the job, and they're not issuing them protective equipment, and so their eardrums are getting blown out, I'm sure, and because it's loud.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that work at the airport, they wear like the protective things, and if you see, like, there are corporate groups, there are corporate owned landscaping, like national firms. You can tell because the trucks are nicely wrapped, and then the guys and gals doing the work are like wearing uniforms and stuff. Like, they usually get issued the protective equipment. So those are not the people who are at risk. It's the
right, yeah,
run of the mill landscape company people. And so I think moving to electric or battery powered equipment is going to be great, not just for the neighborhoods but for these workers. Anyway, yes, it will probably drive up costs, but what isn't these days?
Yeah, true.
I mean, what did you see that the numbers for the consumer price index in August? Then oh man, oh boy! So it's inflation had such a strong uptick that the Social Security payments are going to be adjusted by 5.9% in the next quarter, which they have not made an adjustment that high in 40 years.
Jeez.
So that gives you a sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
On the inflation front right now, and everyone's feeling it. If you're buying things, you know it. If you're paying people, you know it. If you're trying to buy a house, you know it. If your rent is not locked in and you're having to come up for renewal, guess what? It's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
Everything's just more expensive right now. So the cost of landscaping is going to go up because people are going to have to buy new equipment. But
yeah, I've had to raise the price on this show.
I've heard that.
By 700%.
What's a 700% increase on zero? That math's hard for me.
It's zero.
It's zero.
Yeah.
Still zero.
Yeah.
Still,
but technically,
okay.
a 700% increase because of inflation.
Yeah. Right.
Podcast price index. PCI. PPI. Whatever.
The PPI. The PPI.
PPI.
Not to be confused with PTPI. PTPI? There's a disease called...
Pio Tahi?
No, that's the guy who's... Never mind. I was going to make it bad. Never mind.
That is something. I don't know what it is.
Petepiae. Petepiae, I think, is a disease of some sort. Petepiae, right? Petepiae.
Yeah, it's when you get some people in the plain states get it. It's when there's a teepee in your eye, and TPI is like hurts real bad because there's an entire house in your eye.
Google says it looks like there aren't many great matches for your search. Did you mean PTP?
Have you had a little much to drink tonight?
Did you mean pity pie? Did you mean pit pay or pitopia? No, I didn't mean any of those things. What is that? It's something where like you get little dots, little spots all over your skin.
Measles?
Oh my gosh, no.
Now I got to look up what Pio-Pio-Tai-He is. I know that's a thing.
It's come on, people. You
It's
know
like
there's
a natural wonder.
petechiae.
Petechiae. That's where the tikis are in. That's a much more of a Polynesian
are
kind
tiny
of thing.
red flat spots that appear. You remember when we go back to like episode, and remember when I said like I have this information in my head, Marcus.
Oh, of course.
I just can't remember the names of these things, but conceptual, like I remember. Hey, petechiae are tiny red flat spots that appear in your skin. I said little red dots in your skin, but guess what? If I was tested on this and I said, well, the answer is that disease that has little red dots on the skin, you get 0 points, Jason.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
You got to remember petechiae.
Even though you identified it, you just didn't have the name and you were like...
Yes, I would not only die if I would remember how you treat it. I'd remember I remember all these things, but I'd lose because I can't remember the name of it. And I'm not complaining much.
Not much.
I'm just just saying. God, if only I missed that missing gene. Like if you could just insert that back in, maybe they can CRISPR me. Maybe they can CRISPR me.
Hey, that'd be cool.
And then I get the name recognition back.
I really wish that we had come up with a better name for that
CRISPR?
than one of the drawers in the fridge. Have we talked about this?
What? But it's an acronym, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, they could come up with something else.
I mean, I don't know what the acronym is, but I know it was
CRISPR, really?
CRISPR. So if people are for those who are unfamiliar with CRISPR, CRISPR is a
drawer that doesn't
technique.
do anything.
The technique that was and this is way layman's version of this. So scientists, I apologize.
Layman.
Yeah, that's for sure. This was I don't know. Is it appropriate to say invented, created in I believe 2012, and it is the means by which you can pretty much fashion a payload of information that will, like DNA essentially, that will then, or it's actually not DNA, it's actually probably the RNA, right? Now I'm confusing myself. Anyway, sometimes they'll use like a virus as a payload, for example, and then the virus, which is not a disease-causing virus, but the virus will, of course, insert itself into a cell, and then the payload gets released, and and where CRISPR does its thing is it basically goes in, cuts out the targeted piece of DNA, and inserts the new piece of DNA, and through the magic of science, you can eliminate all sorts of diseases by doing this. And also give, maybe yourself blue eyes if you want, apparently at some point. But that is if you want if you just Google search CRISPR, then you'll get a whole bunch of information, and it'll say this has nothing to do with what Jason said.
Right. Once again, layman.
Yeah, I mean, way layman, right? But the thing to remember is that CRISPR is the technique by which you can actually reprogram genes in a living
gene editing, in a person. I believe they call it.
Yeah, it's gene editing at in not in a petri dish, actually in a real person.
If a Word document was your genetic code, and you could backspace over some stuff and put some new stuff in there.
Yes.
It's like, I want GATCACG. What do you think about that?
So it says,
the cat runs across the keyboard, and then you end up with 5 ears.
See, the Cas9 protein forms forms a complex with a guide RNA in a cell, and then the complex attach. It's a whole thing. There's a little infographic we can post on the accidentally derivative.
I'll make a note of that
Facebook page that no one will pay any attention to, but it's fine. But I'll send it to you so you have it. Okay, so
we have
there's
over
that.
100 subscribers on the group. We only have 36 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Go subscribe.
Well, I mean,
So anyway.
they may not want to see us.
Well, they should subscribe anyway because we need to get to the point where we
So
can
that's
start
the
doing
thing.
the
If you get to 100,
that's all we need.
then you get you don't have to have this random, almost RNA looking like title to your YouTube channel. You actually can use the name.
Yeah.
That you still have to remember.
Ridiculous
how to spell
that it's like why is it really that resource intensive to let you have your own URL that they have to
YouTube
make you
does
do?
this. Nah, I mean YouTube does this where they basically give you a goal to work towards, and it works. I mean, like just like you have to. There's other things that only happen after you get to 1,000 subscribers and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's when you can
I think you can't monetize. Yeah. Well, there's multiple things you have to get to 1,000. You have to have. So there's a
certain number of
views,
videos,
like hours,
and then a certain
minutes
number
or
of hours viewed. Yeah. Crazy balls.
Yeah.
Pio Tahi, by the way, the Maori word for Milford Sound. I knew it from somewhere.
Milford Sound?
Mm-hmm. It's a very beautiful place in the South Island of New Zealand.
Okay.
It's an inlet of the Pacific Ocean, and it's quite beautiful.
Hey, you were going to give me video, by the way, of your travels, and you didn't.
Oh, right. No, I do. I have it.
And I'm sad. Sometimes I cry myself to sleep thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, that's been the goal.
And you know the song that's stuck in my head every time I think about it?
What is it?
Don't You Make My Brown Eyes Blue.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Is that another CRISPR thing? Or
it's a CRISPR Gayle song.
CRISPR Gayle?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
true though. It's true. When I was a wee little lad.
Yay! What's a wee lad?
I was a sad kid, and I would. What? Oh yeah, I went dark. So like at night, when I would go to bed. I think to this day, this is why I like to just be completely exhausted before I go to bed. Like I don't want any time laying in bed. We've talked about this. Like I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruminate.
Yeah.
I don't want to think.
No, I'm with you.
I just want to sleep. Period. And when I was a kid, like I would lay in bed and I'd think about things like death and like what happens and yada yada. I went through this period of time where I had learned all about the whole biblical thing where when the Messiah returns, the dead will be, people will be raised from the dead, sort of. I think, and I would freak out about that. I'd be like, well, you know what, God, I'd like you to come before I die because I don't want to wake up in a coffin.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like a 6-year-old is a reasonable concern, right? Like you hear like, oh, well, wait, the people like be raised from the dead. What if you're in a coffin?
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen to me.
What if you got burned up? What if they cremated you?
I would like that and all sorts of other
be a little
sordid issues.
looking blob of ashes walking around going, hello. You'd have a really weird English accent for some reason. Hello, I'm just a little thing of ashes. Hello.
I mean, I didn't think about it that way.
Raised from the dead. I'm a bit grey. Sorry. Kind of dread.
I didn't think about it that way. But hold on, I just got a message saying my hard drive space was almost full, and I think I know why.
Yeah. Well, see, now you're glad I didn't give you that VR footage from. It'd be really full at this point.
Somebody who I shared Dropbox with just created a new folder and started loading it up.
Oh,
with
Lord have
all
mercy.
sorts of like stuff.
Shared drives are always online only.
Oh boy.
You do not want that.
So
give somebody the ability to put stuff on your drive like that.
This should fix itself now. Okay. So yeah, I would cry myself to sleep.
Dude, that's
to the point. And then sometimes like songs would trigger it, like "Don't You Make My Brown Eyes Blue" would come on, and because I could hear. My father used to sleep with the radio playing or something, like down the hallway. I could hear it, and so then that song would come on. So this is not even at this point. It's probably middle of the night, and I've woken up, and I would like cry, like it would just make me so sad.
Really, that song?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
It was trouble, and you're like. Yeah, it was bad. And like I don't even like thinking about it. I'm having a little. I'd rather think about the tractor almost running me over. That's a better.
When I was a kid, I had this irrational fear of aliens, like the gray kind of aliens, because it's at one point like I was nuts
like
for
E.T.?
space. Well, E.T. freaked me out. That's for darn
He's
sure.
gray. You were like, I knew it.
And he's freaky. And when you just stumble upon him in that field at the very beginning of the movie, and he goes, "Rah!" And then like I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. That's a bunch of crap right there. See ya. I ain't having any more of that. No.
I'm certainly not going to go looking for him.
Thank you. No.
Yeah, you're on your own, buddy.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with space. I still pretty much am. Both a kid and obsessed with space. But so I would watch anything that seemed like it was going to be about space. Like as a kid, I had watched all of Cosmos, Carl Sagan's amazing show.
Yeah.
But then I also watched Nova because, hey, that's a star thing. And I think
not
it was
always,
that.
though.
Exactly,
Nova,
right.
I mean, Nova did other. Yeah. Oh, I see where you're going.
And they did. They did a show about alien abduction.
Of course they did.
And
you sure that wasn't In Search of with Leonard Nimoy?
With Nimoy,
do you remember
Nimoy?
that?
I don't think it was. It
remember
may
that
have
show?
been.
That was a freaky show too. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was like terrified of aliens coming to get me after that. I mean, like ridiculous. And so whenever I was trying to sleep or, in the bed, that was when it was time to be on your guard, because that's when they come and get you.
Right.
Because nobody talks about getting abducted by aliens in the middle of a barbecue at 3 p.m.
Too many witnesses.
Well, yeah, obviously. So, yeah, but, even though rationally I'm in the middle of a very highly populated town, and
like, what's the
why would they know me? Would be coming after me anyway.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The randomness of it is actually scarier.
It is a bit.
Think about that. Don't you think?
But what a hassle trying to take me.
Well, when you hear homicide numbers, for example, if you live in a big city and you hear like, oh, we've had this many homicides this year, you're like, oh, until you find out like, oh, well, 90% of them were gang related. You're like, okay,
yeah,
like not that that's good, not that that's okay.
No,
but like but you not being in a gang means that the chances of you actually
you're not in that category. Yeah,
right. It's going to be much lower, right? What you really care about is like how many random white dudes were killed in their sleep.
Right. Well, I was thinking about that.
And if that number's high, you got pause. You have reason for concern.
Because you see these like true crime shows.
I would say white dude because you're white. I mean, it could really be anybody.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But you see these crime shows and like this person got murdered and we are searching for the person and they knew the person and they killed them because they had a motive to kill them or whatever.
Yes.
But imagine if like you were just kind of like the Joker and all you wanted was chaos. And you just decided randomly to kill somebody you have no connection to at all.
That's scarier.
You would get away with that because there's no connection to you. I mean, you would have to like leave a trail of blood to your own house or something along those lines.
You're not encouraging people to go out and do random
I say
acts of
this
violence.
is a bad idea, and we at Accidentally Derivative do not condone the murder of other human beings.
No, but if you heard like there are a whole bunch of skinheads killing each other,
right?
You wouldn't be so worried about that situation,
right?
Right?
Because it's all part of the plan. Sorry.
Is that your Nicholson?
No, I don't know. It's a random attempt at a Heath Ledger joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, Heath Ledger.
Everybody loses their minds. Right.
Yeah. Joker's. Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm with you. No, it's all good.
So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what he was saying. I think in that thing is that if you just randomly shoot somebody, then
Yeah, that sounded like that.
that's freaky.
I mean, we went
but
down
if
a weird. I don't
if
like
500 soldiers get blown up in a war or whatever, everybody kind of takes that in stride because that's how that's usually goes. That's part of the plan.
Make sure you tick the box that says "not made for kids" on this episode, will you?
Oh right, yeah. Oh, does that say? Oh, I thought it said "not made with kids." Oh, okay.
I mean, childlike
so we have
tendencies, for sure. Oh well, speaking of my walk and speaking of earmuffs that or ear protection, I got to talk about something's wrong with my ear.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Something's wrong with
today.
my. Well, I don't know. Actually, something's wrong.
What's going on with my ear
well,
canal?
it's my right ear canal.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I thought it was because I got a new phone, or maybe upgrading to iOS 15 or something. Because what I noticed is that when I'm walking with my AirPod things,
Mm-hmm.
only in the right ear, I was getting this like almost what sounded like static, or like a kind of thing. Like, what is that? And I figured, and I was like, gosh, something's wrong with like the AirPod. I don't know. And then I realized, oh wait, no. Then I would move it around. I think what I recognized that, I don't know if I said something. I made some noise, and I could hear the sound. Like, oh wait, why? I'm creating that now. So then I realized that, and if I move it around, I could hear it like in my ear, like a little, like a little squishiness or something. Like, but what it is that there's a certain frequency where there's resonance, I think, with the soft plastic, the soft latex or whatever that is that creates the seal around the AirPod and in your ear canal, but only in this right ear, and it hasn't always been that way. It's just recent, and now I have to find I got to find who keeps these things. Once you figure out the fit for your AirPod thingies, what do you do with all those extra ones that it comes with? I'm sure it's in the house somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Oh, like the other sizes?
The sizes. I'm going to have to... And now I'm a freak, man. Like, I have to have one different size in each ear. I don't have symmetrical ear canals anymore. Apparently, I did at one point, and then something in the past month changed, and now that ear's all messed up.
That's
I think I'm blaming Colorado.
for me. Asynchronous
Dude,
ear canals.
It's driving me crazy. Because it's like okay, in my car, I've never driven you in my car, right?
I don't think so.
It's embarrassing to ride in my car.
I have
I have a Honda Accord, a touring model. Honda Accords. They're basic cars, but this is like the nicest of the basic cars, right? And I like it, except that it's got this cool like heads-up display thing, so it shows like it shows your speed, and it'll show like the speed limit for the road on there, and it can show you all sorts of information, whatever you wanted to see. You can dial it in, but you don't have to look down to like see certain information. It's right there in your little HUD thing.
Is it like projected to the window?
Yeah, it basically projects a mirror image onto the windshield, which then reverses. Right?
That's pretty sweet.
Right? So so it's a nice little feature, and the problem is that with where it comes out of the dashboard up towards the window, I think because of temperature changes, because it's made of a different material than the rest of the dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
I think at certain speeds and based on certain temperatures, it has like a rattle, like a vibration sound.
Oh man!
So loud that people comment on it in the car.
Really?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I finally got the Honda people to look at it. I had to pay like $100. I thought I was paying $100 or $150 for them to like fix it, right? Oh no! I was just paying for $100 for them to figure out like what they needed to do. Apparently, they discovered where the sound's coming from. I was like, I could have told you where the sound's coming from.
Yeah,
and it would, and they have to like
$100.
They have to rebuild something in there, like give it more padding or something. I don't know. And
I was about to say just stuff some toilet paper or something in there.
And
I don't need it to be elegant. I just need it to stop buzzing.
But they have to take the dashboard. It's going to cost like $800. I'm like, do I have an $800 problem? Because it's gotten so bad, Marcus, that I think on a daily basis I think about getting a new car because of this rattle.
So yeah, it's either $800
or a new car,
$18,000.
It's a problem. It's embarrassing to me. But this is now what's going on with these. Like, I have this AirPod. I spent a lot of money on these AirPods, right? And now I got this rattle in my ear.
And you're sure it's the seal? I mean, you tried it with other, like the corded ones you got on right now.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Doesn't happen with those.
These don't do it. Yeah, okay, I think it has to do with like the material. There's a resonance. It's a frequency resonance, and I can actually cause it if I like hum a certain frequency. I can make it happen.
Oh wow, you can hum it into being.
Yeah.
Like even when you twist the thingy around to where like maybe, I don't know if maybe it got warped. It still does it, huh?
Oh, I look. There's something that's warped, and it ain't the the little thing going in my ear. I think it's the receiving end. Yeah. So I don't know. It's driving me crazy.
Well,
I mean, it's a problem because it's like it becomes like that. It's like the telltale heart. It's like all I can hear now. I'm trying to listen to this book. Right. I'm working my way through Peril right now and audio book, and I'm like and I'm like subject matter is annoying enough, and I'm listening anyway.
So you have sent me a flurry of pins.
I know. I was looking for some of yours. I was trying to find.
I don't think I have any this week.
Oh no. I mean, we can just go down the list and see how far we get, and then.
Yeah. So talk to me about what is this? Thrills. What am I looking at here?
Oh, Thrills the gum. So
yeah.
So
let me describe what I see, and then you tell me what's going on here. It's a box called Thrills, THRILLS, and through the little window in the box, you see what looks like purple chiclet style gum in there, little squares, and then on the side here, because we'll go over the middle bit because that's the best part. Last on the side we have gum/gomme, which I can only assume that is French for gum, GOMME.
This is a Canadian product.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. 10 pieces, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can see 10 in the window, and that's a much bigger box. So anyway, 10 pieces in there, 10 morceaux. And then what I can only assume is the sort of trademarked phrase for this gum. It says, and I'm quoting, "It still tastes like soap."
Yeah,
and an exclamation point. Toujours la même gomme savon. Which I only assume means this gum tastes like soap, because I do notice that they say gomme.
It still tastes like soap. Like, don't worry.
It still tastes like soap.
In case you were wondering whether you should buy this or not, you should, because it still tastes like soap.
It's kind of like he got all famous and he forgot his roots, and then it doesn't taste like soap anymore. No. No matter how famous they got, they remembered who got them there, and it still tastes like soap.
Like somebody said, like at some point, people bought it like, God, this gum tastes like soap. Can you believe? Yo, you got to taste this. Oh yeah, it tastes like soap. And then maybe they got worried that people thought they would fix it.
Yeah,
and maybe there's some history here. Maybe they actually did change it, and then people stopped buying it because they actually wanted the thing that they talked about so much that, like, oh, I don't want normal tasting gum. I bought this because it tastes like soap. And so now they went back to this original flavor, and like, it still tastes like. Don't worry, it still tastes original recipe.
Right, it's sort of like a precursor to the Birdie Bott's every flavored beans, where like half of them taste really nasty, but somehow that's awesome. And so,
Yes.
but this is like there's one nasty flavor instead of like 10 of them. It's one.
Right.
And they're like, yeah,
They
this
still
is
taste like
worst,
farts.
the worst gum in the universe. And don't worry, still tastes like garbage.
There's still that booger. There's still a booger in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a very upsetting shade of purple too for gum. I don't know why, but that's
I don't think
really
it's actually
unsettling.
that color, though. I need to look at it again.
Well, that's clearly not the gum because, like I said, the box is way bigger than that window, and you can see 10 pieces of gum in that window. So that's weird.
Well, I'm going to bring you a piece, number one.
Oh, please do. We
we
need to have it on the show.
And the way I would describe it, first of all, it does taste like soap, but
Cool, good.
but it's more. It would be more accurate to describe it. It tastes like the smell of soap.
Okay.
So,
yeah, no, I got you.
So, if you've ever actually gotten soap in your mouth, that's not a pleasant experience.
And it doesn't taste the way it smells.
Smell. It's not because of the smell. Right. So it doesn't have that experience. It's the smell really, and it doesn't it doesn't linger. It's kind of very front forward. It's like right on the sort of first initial few tastes of it. It's that, and it's the kind of soap. I immediately went back to like my childhood, and it's kind of like the soap that like an old aunt would have, like your like great aunt or something would have. It's like that, almost like a lavender, but like very like old. It smells like flowery old people.
Huh. Okay.
Yes.
And there's a gum.
It's probably what British people smell like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's well known they do smell like that. Do you in your laundering? Do you ever use a substance called Fell's naphtha? Have you ever even heard of it?
What?
This is a real thing. And it's one of those
naphtha.
Fell's FELS space naphtha NAPTHA. And let me tell you, this stuff is magical. What it is a giant. It looks like a bar of soap.
Okay.
And what you do, especially if you have like an oil stain, like a cooking oil or something like that, like grease on your shirt, you know how those never come out, right?
I use like shallot or something for that.
Well, this stuff is like 10 cents because it's been around since like the 30s, and you wet your clothes, you rub the soap on the clothes, and you throw them in the wash and you wash them, and it's gone. It's the stain is gone. And
it spells Napa. It's NAPPA, isn't it? Oh no, it's naphtha. You're right. It's naphtha.
It's naphtha. Yeah. But the thing is it smells like Grandma's house. Like it is. So
your clothes come out smelling like that too?
No, not really. It does wash out pretty well, but after you've used it though, and you've got the wet bar, like by the sink or whatever, man, you are in Grandma's house, and really? It is amazing. And it's not a smell I can really put my finger on. It's not like lavender.
It's not like mothballs or something, right?
No, not like that. No, it's a pleasant smell. It's a clean smell, but it's like it's not floral that I can tell.
But it says avoid contact with skin. Oh, prolonged contact with skin.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a bar of soap, so I think they're like, okay, don't use this as a bar of soap.
Well, first of all, I'm ordering some. I can't. I'm a little surprised that you don't have like an affiliate link already or something for.
It's really good, and I don't. It just seems like one of those things that you would see an advertisement for on the wall of a Cracker Barrel or something. Like an antique or something.
Yeah. How long does one bar last?
I've had the bar that I have for about 5 or 6 years now.
So the bar, it's $1.99 on Amazon. Right.
Yeah, it's cheap as heck. It's probably cheaper than that if you get it at the grocery store.
I don't think
because you'd be surprised that it's been there this whole time and you didn't realize it. It's on the bottom shelf and it's this big, so it's hard to see.
And they haven't changed they have not changed the wrapping on this or anything. It doesn't look like it's 50s.
No, they have not. Yeah.
And it says since. Hold on, there's a thing. Since 1894.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Oh, and it's French.
Well, I didn't know that.
Oh, no, it's Spanish. Never mind. Is that Spanish? I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know these things.
It may be.
So I bought it.
All things.
$1.99 coming my way.
Yeah, cool.
Sunday.
See? You next
Fells
day aired
naphtha.
some Fells naphtha.
No, I got it through Prime.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the
What I'm
second
afraid
day or
of is that
whatever
they're
it
gonna.
is.
I'm afraid they're gonna stick it in like some other stuff, and then everything's gonna smell like Fells naphtha.
Well, yeah, that's not bad. It's
Isn't
a
it
pleasant,
weird to go
comforting
through-
smell.
You find out something like that. You learn about something like that that's been around since 1894, right? And arguably is in the grocery store. Every grocery store I've ever been in probably it's been in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know about it. And it cost $1.99. And it may say, like, I've been so frustrated with all these stains that don't come out, like these grease stains and things. Oh, speaking of which, I got to talk about the ring. Remind me to tell you about the ring.
I'll remind you to tell me about the ring.
So, and there's this $1.99 product I didn't even know existed until you said something. Doesn't that make you think about like all the stuff you still don't know?
Yeah, like what else am I missing? Yeah,
Right. Fells naphtha. What other Fells naphthas are there in the world? You know, like this is crazy.
Bob's naphtha, but that's a good naphtha too.
It really scares me. Like what else?
Yeah.
What else am I struggling with that I didn't need to be because there's this $1.99 product that will last 6 years?
Right.
Except in
Well,
my
get
house.
that many stains. That's the thing, right? Is that it's there to not. Now, I guess if I cooked a lot of fried chicken or something and like grease was always like splattering on me, or maybe that would be.
Or pasta. You
Maybe
eat
I'd
pasta
go through
and
one of
pastas.
these.
So so for like several I would say several weeks straight, but like for like a period of time that spanned weeks or maybe months, occasionally during this time, I would see that like a shirt that I have, like one of my like shirts that I exercise in or just kind of lounge around in, would have a ring. Perfectly symmetrical ring. That's not a symmetrical ring. Perfectly round ring.
Yeah, it was a
anyway,
circle.
I don't mean to rub my boobie here, but like perfectly round and
The sign of satisfaction.
if that doesn't drive me to YouTube, I don't know what will. So they're like, I gotta see this.
And then you got to
Maybe
go
not.
back to where we established this.
Right. Oh yeah, this is. So I was like, how does this happen? Of course, immediately I was going to blame Michelle. Like, Michelle, when you're doing the laundry, I know what you're doing. Then I was looking for stuff like what exists in here in the laundry room that could possibly be causing this
Has
ring.
this radius.
I was certain that she was setting something down on it, right? Like and creating this ring. I'm like, what is this?
She's having a glass of olive oil.
But then it would come out. It wouldn't stay forever. But then, it's back. But on a different piece of clothing. Like, what's happening? And then one morning, I happened to be. What was I doing? I was cooking something, and I can't. I think maybe I was making eggs. I think I was making eggs, and I realized that because I think it was like a can of like olive oil or like the spray oil kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was taking the lid, and when I would go to put the lid back on, I was doing it one-handed, and I was using my chest,
Pressing against it, yeah.
and so the bottom of the can always had residual oil on it or something, and it was depositing a perfectly round circle here on my chest, on my boobie area, yeah.
Fun.
And I was like, oh.
I was thinking it might be like a middle-aged version of that horror movie, The Ring.
That's
where it's like you keep seeing the ring on your clothes, and then like finally that crazy girl with the hair in her face comes out of the washing machine, and she's like,
oh, it comes out of my chest. Like, oh, so we watched.
Little, so he's like, I'm very small.
We finished watching. We totally binged this, which I wouldn't recommend. The Haunting of Bly Manor. Bly Manor.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hear good things.
It's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Nice.
It's freaky. I don't know. If you're gonna binge it,
like what kind of scary is it? You know what I mean? Is it a jump scare kind of thing?
Have you seen Haunting of Hill House?
I have not. I assume that it's to do with ghosts.
I would put it in the category of Sixth Sense.
Oh.
But, yeah, I put it in the category of Sixth Sense, I think, ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a bit of a thriller nature to it, and a mystery, but also scary.
Right.
Not slasher, not kind of.
Yeah, not a lot of gore or anything.
No, nothing. Nothing gratuitous.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't really go. I'm not usually a horror person. Not that I don't like them. It's not something I really seek out. But yeah, I like a good one. I like a good thriller stuff. I really enjoy.
Yeah,
like Silence of the Lambs is really good. I really like that. That scene at the end where he's got the night vision goggles on and she's like in the dark or whatever. That scene is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I actually liked Blair Witch. Did you ever watch that movie?
Oh yeah, of course I did. It was
when
filmed,
it came out.
It was filmed in my home state. Like I knew exactly in the woods where that was filmed. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it made me a little nauseous because of the shakiness of the camera and stuff.
Yeah.
But it
I
came
found
out
it to be very effective.
That was a golden era, like sort of like the breakdancing movies of the '80s, and and you know how Iron Eagle and Top Gun came out in like the same year.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. It's weird that
That's
happens.
A yin and yang for you right there.
I know. It's weird. It's weird that stuff happens. But
well, it's like Asteroids Killing the Earth movies. There was 3 of those that came out in the same summer.
Right. And Independence Day also was kind of mixed in there too with Armageddon and
right. And Deep Impact, and then there was
Deep Impact,
Asteroid or something. There was like a direct to TBS movie.
Right. So, but this is when I think it was 1999 when Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
I think that was 1999. Sixth Sense, and I remember Stir of Echoes also came out that same year, I believe.
I haven't seen it, but I remember it
around that
out.
same time. Yeah, and
thinking that was kind of a neat title.
Oh, Kevin Bacon, great.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
Kevin Bacon, yeah,
great movie. To me, like one of the freakiest movies out there. Yeah, worth watching. Worth watching if you like mild horror.
Cool,
yeah, it's good.
And it's got Kevin Bacon. I mean, we're both close to him on the bacon meter. You have a bacon number of 2 or 3 rather, because I have one of 2.
Look at that. See,
and it's double layered. I was in 2 movies with with 2 different people who were in movies with Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
so I got a double layered bacon number of 2.
Is that like? Would you like extra
it's a bacon double
with that?
cheeseburger?
Like, well, yes, I would like. Who doesn't want extra bacon with that? Right? I mean,
even bacon wants bacon.
Even bacon wants bacon.
Somebody's.
I'm attempting for my next trick.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that I pull this up. So speaking of which, I discovered this in pulling up Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix, which is where we watched it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I got another show recommendation for you.
Oh yeah,
and a release from my lawyer.
Okay, well I appreciate that. So I pulled up this on Netflix, and it said it gives you that continue watching thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but notice Community's in there.
Heck yeah, it is.
Schitt's Creek is in there.
Yeah. Both extremely good shows.
I don't even know what this is. I can't even read this. Duchess.
I know nothing of that.
Some other chick kind of oriented show. And then
chick-oriented show.
Then there's Watch It Again, right? And under Watch It Again, there's these other things like Queen's Gambit, which I know is supposed to be really good, but I never watched it.
So for some reason, some watch it again, even though you have not watched it the first time.
Right. And I mean, most of this stuff's fine.
It is very good, by the way, Queen's Gambit.
Like, why is it queuing? Like, it gives me this whole section on women who rule the screen. Again, okay. I'm not arguing that I shouldn't be. Like, I'm just saying
that's after Bly Manor.
Something was wrong, and I said, Michelle was sitting there. I said, "Have you been watching shows on my account?" And she said, "Oh, I might have." I was like, "Woman."
Yeah, my recommendations are all goofed up. There's so much cult and true crime in my thing now.
And the problem is that I don't know, like, unlike Amazon, because Amazon you can actually get under the hood and it will show you what is, like, what
there's a, like, why did you recommend this kind of thing.
Yes, right. Yeah. And you can then cancel stuff out, right?
Right.
So,
because, like, if you bought a gift for somebody and it was like Bob's 25 great kites of history because, you know, the guy likes kites. Well, now it's going to be showing you all kind of kite crap. And then you're like, no, that's a gift. No. That's not me, it's him. Now, when his birthday comes around again, maybe we'll talk about the kites.
Right,
but
just like that maternity pillow, you know, that was a gift for myself.
You know, that would actually be, the maternity pillow, that would actually be a really cool sort of innovation for them is to say, have like profiles in your account for people you buy gifts for. And then it's like, are you looking for a gift for Bob?
For Bob.
Well, you got
Bob
him these 3 things in the past. Here's some other stuff
remember,
that's
Bob's
along those
incontinent.
lines. Right. So here are some pleated European cut underwear with
still tastes like soap.
Depends in there and it tastes like soap. And we'll throw in a bar of Fell's naphtha.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need it, Bob. But
Netflix, so the thing is, Netflix used to have such a beautiful system where, number one, you didn't have, it was an account per household. And if and he or she who controlled the Netflix ordering controlled the universe, right? Like,
yes.
when you were sending off for those DVDs to be sent to you in the mail, which is a glorious thing, you would go through and it was like the thumbs up, thumbs down stuff.
Yeah.
And you would tell it, like, and it would offer you things up, like, hey, do you like this? You watched this. Did you like this? Did you not like this? Have you seen this? Did you like it? Oh, you saw it? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Yeah.
And you would give it a rating.
You go through a whole thing.
Then and I would spend hours perfecting
me too, man.
that.
I
but
had like
Marcus,
3,000 of them in there.
It was so perfect. I mean, the stuff it offered up. It wasn't like some things you're like, oh, I never even heard of that. Like, this is great. And I loved everything. And it just it was great. The algorithm was amazing, and it was basically, you know, I think we've talked about TiVo before. It was like around the same time TiVo was doing its thing as when Netflix started doing its thing, and it was just a beautiful thing. And then at some point, I think they tried to make things easier, maybe, or something, because you don't get that ability the same way that you did before.
I think
and they
got
tried to
over-engineered.
I think so too. And do you remember you could have friends? Like, you could actually share your list with your friends. And and then you could pull stuff off of their list, like, that they liked, and because they would even tell you, like, how much of a match you were on the movies that, like, the stuff that you liked. And it was interesting to know, like, oh, look at that, we kind of like the same stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's so, but it's so, like, you would think that after 20 years of data gathering on me,
yeah,
they wouldn't be offering up some of these shows.
Yeah, at that point, everything that they recommended you should love at this point.
And
with that much data.
I'm not gonna watch this thing. And it should even know, like, are you sure you're using the right account? Because Jason doesn't usually log in to watch a movie.
They've got enough info for that. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
They're like, what? Wait a minute. All right. Jason, are you okay? You drunk? You having a stroke? Should we call 911?
Like, right. Your calendar
Why
doesn't
are you
show
watching
that
a Lifetime movie?
Calendar. Crystal Gayle. You know how you feel about Crystal Gayle.
We were there, Jason. Yeah. We saw it.
Yeah, that's that. So don't. It's very. Please don't mess with my algorithm. Yeah. Don't watch shows under my account.
And kind of like when you accidentally associated your brother with Michelle in the
still
facial
paying
recognition.
For that.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you goof it up, it's hard to ungoof it up.
I think Apple's Apple in the new iOS release for the iPhone, it's actually done some really nice things on the photo information side.
Oh yeah,
like editing out certain or editing in information is a lot easier than it used to be. Like it used to be a bit. You couldn't even do this on your phone. You had to go to a computer to do this. Changing the location and or the date of a photo.
Oh yeah,
was painful. So if a lot of times, like if I scanned a picture, here's a picture, I'm going to scan this picture, and it's from when I was a kid, and I'm going to scan this picture, right? It's going to associate, Winter Garden, 2021, right? Well, this was Baltimore County, 1979.
But you were in Winter Garden when you scanned it, therefore.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you can edit that much more easily.
That's cool.
right from your phone.
That's good.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Another thing I wish they would do is I didn't really notice that this was a problem until I looked at pictures for the hike. I told you about Milford Sound just now. The Milford Track is a hike that leads up to Milford Sound, and I did that hike in New Zealand, and I took pictures with my iPhone on that thing, and then I traveled back home to the United States, crossed the international date line. And I was going to make a really cool patch commemorating the hike, because there was about 18 of us on the hike. So I made this cool patch.
And you know what everybody wants? They all want patches.
Yeah, you put them on your pack.
People don't give them enough patches. Really.
But it had the date. Here's the point. It had the dates of our hike. It was a 4-day hike, and so it was whatever to whatever. But the problem is, I was like, I don't remember when we left on the hike. So I went back and looked at my pictures, the picture from the first day, and it says, I don't remember exactly what it is, but let's say it's February 15th. Okay, I'll put February 15th to February 19th, 4 days, boom. And then later on, my friend Ramsey, who organized the whole thing, was like, these are great. These patches are awesome. Fantastic job. One problem, the dates are off by one. And I was like, oh God, really? And I look back at my pictures, like, no, my picture was on the thing. Oh, it has translated the date and time and is now telling me what the time was where I am standing now when I took the picture over there. And it has moved the time for me helpfully, which kind of screwed me. And I don't understand why that does. Like, why would you do that? Why would it matter where the time was anywhere else in the world other than where you took the shot?
Right.
I just, man.
Let's. I gotta see if this still does it. So if I go to my sunrise, I know what time I took this picture of the sunrise in Boulder. So I'm gonna click on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And it says Boulder, September 25th, 6:50 a.m. So it's retained.
Is that right? So it is.
Retained the time. So
maybe enough people griped about that. I don't even remember if I did or not, but I should have if I didn't. But,
interesting.
Did
you get new patches or did you just?
No, I was just like, we'll just call that
free.
A happy thing.
Right.
And by the way, if you are not watching Squid Game, you need to watch it.
So, but now I feel like I can't.
Because everybody's watching it?
And not only watching it, but now it's become such a thing that, like, the media is making fun of it. Like it's become so popular.
Yeah.
That now I feel like what was the other show that I resisted? I wouldn't watch.
What If?
Yes.
Was that one of those?
That wasn't the one I was thinking of, but yeah, that's another one. Right? What If is like one of those classic. I will get around to watching it, but I cannot bring myself to watch it right now.
It is not
everyone's
anything
watching.
you might have thought of that it would be. It is not that. It is quite brilliant and quite engaging, and it's another like. Have you seen Parasite?
Yeah, I love Parasite.
Yeah, right. So it's not the same style or anything, but it's just that whole. It's a product of a different culture, right? It's a Korean culture film in the case of Parasite, or show in the case of Squid Game, and it's interesting to see the differences in their storytelling, and the story is just really cool, and the characters are really good, and it's a lot more sort of crazy, blown out Gonzo kind of storyline than Parasite is. I mean, I guess not much. Parasite ended up being pretty crazy, but spoilers. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's got a very dystopic, creepy kind of feel to a lot of it, and it's very Twilight Zone-y, but a distinctly Korean Twilight Zone, and a good bit of commentary on the human condition vis-a-vis 2021. So yeah, it's really neat.
Okay. So I'll watch it next month.
Okay.
How long is it gonna? Well, Netflix just dumps everything, right? Netflix
yeah,
just
the whole
dumps it
thing's
all,
up right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it's 9 episodes.
I'll wait till it blows over. I did finally watch What If.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What'd you think?
Fine. It was fine.
It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that one's having a season 2 as well? I didn't know that.
It was a bit unsatisfying of an ending, but
yeah. And there's an episode that was removed and pushed over into season 2. You remember at the beginning of the very final episode when he's going around and selecting all the people for his team.
You mean the beginning of the last
finale
episode? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was weird. That was a weird moment,
he goes up to Gamora.
And all I could think of was Westworld the whole time too. Like,
yeah, because of his voice. But he goes up to Gamora and Tony Stark wearing his Hulkbuster armor and having like graffiti on him from Sakaar, and is like, what? Who are these people? Well, they're from the episode that was removed, and apparently what happened was
it was like a random universe we weren't supposed to know about.
I thought it was at first, but I was like, that's kind of weird because they haven't done that with anybody else. We haven't seen just a random person from a universe we haven't actually seen yet, except for these guys. And apparently some kind of plot thing happens in that they did not want revealed yet. And they're like, because like a movie or something like that. Yeah, later.
So there is going to be a connection.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so that was a little jarring because they seemed to be talking about stuff, and we sounded like we were supposed to know what they were talking about, and I was just like, what? So I later found out about the missing episode. So
now I need to watch that again.
That made that
make
a little more sense.
Yeah, that was weird. That whole thing was weird when he was assembling the team and picking up people, and then you're like, wait, he took. Oh, okay. Why did he take her? That's weird.
Right. Why isn't Captain Marvel part of this?
Well, I mean, anyway.
But yeah, so all of that to say, Squid Game's really good. As is Only Murders in the Building. Have you been watching that?
Oh, I have been. Thanks to you, I think. I think you're the one that tipped me off about that. And
wait, I tipped you off about it. I tipped you. Oh, wait a minute. I know. That's the right way to do it.
It was great. And it is great. Good. Oh, did you watch this week's?
Yeah.
Yesterday. So good. Selena Gomez. She just works. I didn't expect it to work, but it works.
She's very
I mean,
low
Martin Short,
key.
Steve Martin and Martin Short, you're like, oh, this is gonna be great. Anything they do together, they could just,
I love
they could
Martin
just
Short
stare at each other and it's gonna be funny.
much. Yeah.
And
then
these
you throw
characters.
Nathan Lane into that. It's like, oh
When
my
he
God.
showed up, I was like,
I'm so happy. And Sting for no reason just shows up.
Sting. And he's so good. It wasn't even like a little cameo. I thought it was just a little cameo. Like, oh, he's a famous guy who lives in the building. Okay, great. Oh, no.
Like 3 episodes.
It's like, and a whole bunch of dialogue. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This is
and
great.
just the whole look of it and the style of it is all very unified and distinct, and the music is wonderful. I mean, that's such a good show.
It's really
and whenever
well
you
done.
see a show that has, 13 executive producers, if you count them at the beginning, you're like, ooh, this is
There's
not
a lot of
going to
opinions
go
at the
well.
table, around the table. Yeah, like, well,
It's like
hopefully
when
it
you
was
see
like
more
okay,
than 4 people on the script, and you're like, oh God.
hopefully they got a lot of clarity around who was going to actually have input, creative input, and who was just putting money on the table, right? Like, yes, you're a producer.
Well, yeah,
But you're not going to be making creative decisions.
if you know what you're doing, and you see that Steve Martin and Martin Short are collaborating on something, you're like, all right, you do the thing, kind of like what we would do with
here's
Favreau.
cash. You take my cash.
Here's all of the money. Make the show.
There you go. There you go. Right.
And
when you got
there you go.
and you love shows like what I love about so there was this show. I know we're going a little bit long, but there was the show. I know. It's probably maybe enough time has passed. We can talk about him now. Louis C.K. and his show that he did that he bankrolled.
Was this Louis?
No. It was basically like a stage show, but it was done for film, and Alan Alda is in it. He plays this like old racist bar owner.
Alan Alda.
Yes.
Weird.
It's like convincingly, which makes you think like, oh, really? You're so good. This seems so easy for you.
Yeah, when he was the Republican challenger to Bartlett. In West Wing. Was it Bartlett challenger, or was he the?
No, he was
Jimmy Smits's.
Jimmy Smith. So I'm gonna put in Lucy. Horace and Pete. Horace and Pete. Have you not seen Horace and Pete?
I have not seen Horace and Pete.
Marcus.
What even is that word? Horson.
Horace.
More calling Horson.
Pete.
Horse and Pete. Okay, gotcha.
Horace and Pete. Okay.
Pete.
I'm gonna just run through the cast.
And when you look at both of them, you're looking at Horse.
So there's
and
Louis
Pete.
C.K. Right.
All right.
Edie Falco.
Oh yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Also Sopranos.
Alan Alda.
Not Sopranos.
Jessica Lange.
Okay. Other things.
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright.
That's
Wright. Awesome.
Adie Bryant, who's on SNL, who's great, great in this. Karen Pittman, who I believe is on the morning show now on Apple TV.
I have not watched that, but it
there's
looks
some other
compelling.
people who I don't know, but it's so good. It's so
Horse
good.
and Pete.
Horace and Pete.
Horace.
Horace.
I'm thinking the animal horse.
and the premise is 2 middle-aged cousins operate a rundown family bar in Brooklyn.
Okay. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
And I'm telling you, I hope you'll love it. According to Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 96% average tomato meter and a 93% average audience score. And I think it's like one of these like just unknown gems that are out there. And the category, where it's like drama, comedy, whatever. This is a tragic comedy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, and he bankrolled this thing, and I believe, how do you watch it now? You can watch it on Hulu. You can watch it on Hulu now.
Hulu.
Originally, you had to like buy it through his website, and then you got like the access key to it or something.
Like
and
Dr. Horrible.
Which probably wasn't a great model, but allowed him to keep more of the money, I think. And
like what year was this?
It's 2016. So it was like right after this that he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
okay.
yeah.
Did you ever watch Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog?
I feel like that's probably what people would call me if they heard me singing.
Dr. Horrible?
Yeah.
And this is obviously Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. You should take a look for that. It is a wonderful 3-episode mini.
3 episodes.
Yeah, it's like because they came out in something, 07 or something
Dr.
like
Horrible's
that.
sing-along blog stream.
Yeah, and it's Neil Patrick Harris is the titular Dr. Horrible.
Okay.
He plays. He's wanting to become a supervillain, and his arch nemesis is Captain Hammer, played by Nathan Fillion, the quite wonderful, delightful Nathan Fillion, and Felicia Day is in it.
Who's that?
Okay, it's hard to say because she doesn't really show up in a lot of like
still.
mainstream stuff. Yeah, she's very blurry because she's got the Speed Force. No, but she is in a lot of like nerdy type things. I don't know if you ever watched Alan Tudyk's Con Man. It's a story about.
I don't think I watched the entire thing. I watched the first few episodes of it.
You need to watch the entire thing.
I'm not a Comic-Con. I think because I'm not a Comic-Con, but I can get into it.
But it's funny.
Okay.
Second season is even better because they have the musical version of Mice and Men called I'm With Stupid. And it is
also
written by Lou
alternative.
Ferrigno.
Also alternative name for this podcast.
True that.
And then I'm working like that's too cruel. I can't. Let's just pick something you can't spell. That's even better because it's more subtle.
Better. You're really on the spelling thing when it comes to.
I'm very transparent about my flaws and inabilities. Yes.
And $1 every time you mention how hard it is to spell accidental.
Well, I don't want people to feel like they're alone, Marcus. That's the thing. I don't want people to feel like
that's you're reaching out. You're reaching out.
Yeah.
That's nice of you. That's really awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Identify with me. That's what people want, I think.
They do. They want desperately to identify with you. And then they call some form of hotline.